Good evening. How is everyone doing? How have you all been? I hope you are all continuing to stay safe and well, and you are really taking care of your health and emotions as well. Today, I'm talking about why your emotional and mental health matter on this day of mental health day. Reason being that it's very vital that we all take care of our emotional and mental health, and also always remember that our emotional and mental health matters. When we don't take care of our emotional health, when we don't really focus on becoming better mentally and emotionally, we get into that space where we're locked up and we struggle. We struggle not only with life, we struggle with our thinking, we struggle with our thoughts, we struggle with our mindset. And when your mindset, it becomes your powerhouse and you're not using it, you're going to lose it. Let me type that. When your mindset becomes your powerhouse, if I can type today, house, and you don't use it, you will lose it. And no one wants to lose their mindset. No one wants to go through that emotional turmoil. Hi, Winsome, I see you. No one wants to, give me just a moment to share this. I'm just trying to get into this. When we don't use our mindset rightly, we get into that emotional space where we get lost in our own world. And we even sometimes are in denial of what we're going through. And it's very, very important that we come back home to ourselves. Reality is, if you're not coming back home to yourself, if you're not thanks so much for watching. If you're not reflecting on what your emotions are connecting with you and teaching you, you may get lost in the process. Our emotions were given to us as a gift. And the gift of having your emotions is to be able to experience it, to be able to extract from it, to be able to learn from it, to be able to develop your strength from it, because they're really a source of strength, not a weakness. People think that going through emotional stuff means that you're weak. No, you're not. You're actually learning to become resilient the more you're able to connect with your emotions. And reality is, your emotions and your feelings will forever be valid, irrespective of anybody invalidating them. Your emotions and feelings will always be valid. Give me 1 second. No matter what anybody else tells you, because reality is that nobody can feel what you are feeling like you are feeling it. Nobody can understand what you are feeling exactly the way you're feeling it. Let me say that again. Nobody can feel how you're feeling, and nobody can experience your feeling the same way that you are experiencing it. You may have similar experiences in life, but your experience is unique to you. And every time you go through the emotions and you go through the feelings, you are the only one who has that unique experience with what you're going through. Everything you feel is based on how you felt it and understanding that they are valid. I cannot feel what you're feeling. I cannot go through what you're going through. I cannot have the same emotional experience as you are having that emotional experience. And that's why it is very important for you to connect with your emotions when you're going through life. Let me repeat all that again, because I really want this to sink in. If you're watching this and you know someone who needs this, share this with them. Your emotions and your feelings are valid. I cannot feel what you're feeling. I cannot have the same emotional experience as you are having in this moment. They're two different experiences. Your emotional experience is unique to you. The way you connect with your emotions and learn from your emotions is unique to you. And why is this so important? Connecting to your emotions and connecting to your feelings and learning from them help you build resiliency and also help you discover your strength. But if you're shutting down your emotions, if you're dissociating from your emotions, if you're going into the flight and freeze or freeze mode, you won't be able to connect with your emotions, and you won't be able to understand what your emotions are teaching you about yourself. That is why from a tender age, when we go through emotional experiences, we tend to shut down, because at that age, we don't know how to process our emotions. Take, for example, you watched your caregivers have a fight as a child, and it got physical. At that moment, you couldn't express yourself because you were still a child, but you went into a state of shock based on your emotions. You couldn't process your emotions to even be able to say anything at that moment. So you go into a shock mode, a freeze mode. And when you experience that freeze and you see that thing reoccur, you're going to go back into the freeze mode, because that's how the first thing you learn to cope with is to freeze. And that freeze has begun to really put fear in your mind. And if you end up as an adult in an abusive relationship, when your partner begins to abuse you, you go back into that freeze mode, because that's how you've learned to connect with your emotions. If it's making sense to you, let me know, because somebody really needs to hear this today to become free. One of the things you discover is the emotional experience we have as children get repeated in our adult life when we don't take care of our emotional and mental health. Mental health is what the society has labeled as a stigma, but it also involves your emotional health. Inability to process your emotions, lack of emotional intelligence, all contribute to mental health. They are what keeps you awake at night. They are what gets you into, Winsome said true, they are what gets you into messy relationships. They are what really, throws your life in a shamble if you're not really aware of them. And they're what also alters your behavior. And so one of the things you have to learn is to allow yourself make your mental and emotional health priority to you, because they are part of you. You cannot separate your emotional and mental health from who you are, because they're the foundation of how you function. They're part of the foundation of how you function. And so you really have to come home to yourself. If you've gone through childhood trauma or emotional roller coaster ride as an adult, you have to come back home to yourself to begin to find answers. Without finding answers, no one can find the answer for you. You can go from therapist to therapist to therapist to coach to coach to coach until you come home with yourself and you commit to yourself to heal yourself. You will not really get to where you need to be at. And I'm saying this as a coach who helps other people through this journey. And so one of the things you have to do first is to sit with your emotions and feelings. One of the things, number one, give me 1 second. I'm trying to type that. Give me 1 second. Sit with your emotions and feelings. Sit with your emotions and feelings. Winsome says, I agree. That's the first thing you have to do. Before you go have a conversation with anybody else, sit with your emotions and feelings. How am I getting to this point of understanding my emotions and feelings? Once you don't understand your emotions and feelings, what you tend to do when you go into that shock mode, that freeze mode, that flight mode, that running away from yourself mode, what you tend to do is allow your body to keep a score in your nervous system. So when somebody brings up something that triggers you, your shoulders are the first thing to react. Your shoulders just go up and you get angry. That's a trigger. And if you don't understand your emotions, you will keep getting triggered easily without knowing where things are coming from. So you have to sit with your emotions and feelings and learn from them. If you cannot understand them, write them down and connect with a professional that can help you uncover what they're telling you. I've had to go through this myself. I used to go into the freeze mode and just shut down. And I would never say anything, but it was eating me up on the inside until I learned how to sit with my emotions and feelings. Because your emotions and feelings are always going to be valid and they're unique to you. And no one can understand them until you understand them. That's why you see in a romantic relationship, when people come together, the first thing they do is have conflicts emotionally and feel in terms of emotions and feelings. And you're fighting because you're trying to make somebody else understand your emotions, that they cannot feel how you're feeling it. But you're not trying to help them understand how you want them to accept it. You're not trying to help them to understand how you're processing it so they can understand how to process it with you. And that's one of the foundations of fights in relationship. Because you're feeling something that your partner isn't feeling. And then your partner may even invalidate your feeling because they don't understand what you're feeling. It's like you're trying to teach somebody how to love you, but they don't know how because they're not you. And if you don't love yourself properly, your partner can never know how to love you because you have to show it. You have to show it through your emotions and your feelings. But if you're not learning to sit with your emotions and feelings, what you would end up doing is running to other people that cannot understand your emotions and feelings and trying to get them to help you out. What are your emotions and feelings telling you about yourself? Your emotions and feelings are supposed to help you build resilience. So you have to learn from them. Learn from your emotions and feelings. That's the second thing. Learn from your emotions and feelings. Because if you're not learning, you won't be able to master your emotions and feelings. They will master you. If you can't learn, you won't be able to tame your thoughts and tame your emotions. They will tame you. And as they tame you, what you end up doing is repeating patterns and cycles and projecting whatever it is that you're going through on other people. You have to come home and learn from your emotions and feelings. What is it that you're feeling in this moment? How are you feeling? What is that feeling teaching you about yourself? What do you even know about yourself? Because we have an idea of who we are, but it's not truly who we are. And until you begin the healing process, before you realize this persona that you may have created based on assumptions and illusions and experiences is not really who you are. They're just you're holding on to the behavior, but you're not connecting to the emotions and feelings that help you discover your true self. Number 3 is to learn to become resilient. Learn to become resilient. Because that's the key to connecting with your emotions and feelings. You have to learn to become resilient the more you learn from your emotions and feelings, so that you don't keep repeating patterns. You're learning and you're applying. To become resilient, you have to apply what you're learning. Apply what you are learning from your emotions and feelings. Apply it to yourself. And the more you, Winsome says, I have to teach myself how to love me. And what you realize is when you're applying what you're learning from your emotions and feelings, you realize you're going to become better. They teach you how to become resilient and better. And if you're not, guess what? You're going to go outside of yourself and going within and introspecting and learning and gaining wisdom. You're going to go outside yourself and you're going to start begging and chasing people. And people will give you advice based on what they are feeling, what their emotions is, what they're going through emotionally. And you will now believe that's where you need to be. But guess what? When you get all that opinion, advice, which is opinion from based on where other people are operating from, what you discover is it would expire because feelings and emotions expire. That's the beauty of it. Your emotions and feelings expire. Give me 1 second. Carry an expiration date. Your emotions and feelings carry an expiration date. I read that in my book on Becoming Restored. Your emotions and feelings carry an expiration date. What you feel in this moment is not the same thing you will feel in the next moment. So if you're not allowing yourself to embrace your emotions and feelings and sit with them and learn from them, what you will do is you're just going to keep going round in circles. And you won't be able to connect with yourself. You will get into a relationship and you're in this freeze or flight mode on this unhealthy emotional attachment mode. And when the attachment ends because the other person is also overwhelmed because they can't process their emotions and feelings, guess what? They ghost on you. And you're back to square one. And you get angry. And you lash out. And you throw tantrums. And your body keeps a score. And it's not getting better. And your mental and emotional health are going down the drain. You are the only one who can help yourself improve your emotional health. It's part of your self-development. You have to devote time to develop yourself. You have to devote time to develop your emotional and mental health. No one can do it for you if you're not building on it. And so you have to look at yourself. How much do you truly value you when it comes to your emotional and mental health? How much do you truly value you? Because if I will be in a relationship with you and you don't show me the value, guess what? I won't see it. And that's what happens in unhealthy relationships. Your partner cannot see your emotional and mental health, and you become codependent on the partner for your emotional and mental health. And then they treat you how they treat themselves, without respect, without dignity, without honor, because they may not have a value because they're unhealthy. And that's why I've written my book, Beyond the Pain. Two unhealthy people cannot have a healthy relationship. Two unhealthy people can never have a healthy relationship because the mental and emotional health are unhealthy. And that's why you're going to become more toxic to yourself when you get into such relationships, because they're not helping you grow. They're depleting you. Where are you with your emotional and mental health? And how is it shaping your mindset? Because your mindset is your powerhouse. You can either use it or lose it. That's a quote from my book, Beyond the Pain. If you're not using your mindset right, you cannot feed your life right. If you're not using your mindset right, you cannot feed your life right. What you feed your mind leads your life. That's from my book on Becoming Restored. You have to look at it. Where are you with your mental and emotional health? On this mental health day, I want you to take on this challenge to come back home to yourself. I cannot do it for you. You're the only one who has the power to change your life. You're the only person who has the power to experience your emotions and feelings like you do. And so you have to come back home to yourself and connect with you and really begin to do the healing work. No one can help you heal if you're not committing to healing. People may try, but they will give up on the way because you're not even carrying yourself along. You will procrastinate. You will lie to yourself. You will be in self-denial. You will keep repeating patterns and cycles, and nothing is going to change until you feel like you're caged. I shared a graphic this morning when I shared on mental health. It was a person in a cage. And that resonates with where we are when we're emotionally unhealthy. We feel like we're being buried in a cage and we're not unable to escape. But what we tend to do is run to other people, and we're running away from ourselves. Because when you run away from yourself, you're going to run into people who will push you back to yourself. And that may look like rejection. It may look like neglect. It may look like abandonment. And it's because you are actually producing what you're getting back. What you give back. Hi, Ramona. Thanks for joining. What you give back is what you get back. If you're running away from yourself and abandoning yourself and becoming into a space of limited beliefs and self-sabotage, guess what? The partner, law of attraction, will do the same. You will end up with somebody who is also running away from themselves and dumping you because they can't process their emotions and their feelings. And they're shutting down by ghosting. They may even catfish you sometimes with text messages. They may gaslight you because that's a norm when you're in a healthy emotional and mental state of mind. You may even gaslight yourself. And you don't even know you're gaslighting yourself. And then you get into that cognizant dissonance space and you're wondering, what the heck is going on with me? And I'm not sharing this because I'm trying to shame anybody. Shame happens in a place of unhealthy state of mind. No, I've been through this myself. I now coach people going through it. I've written all in my 4 books about it. And they all have workbooks. And my mission is to help people see that if you're not taking care of you, how can other people see it and value you for what they see and get? The emotional health is stigmatized in the society that we live in because they don't think it's important. And that's why it's easy to program you with all the adverts, with all the TV programs, and with all the brainwashing, and you find yourself just getting into other people's spaces and leaving yourself behind. But when you really come to heal yourself, you realize, I didn't need all these things I was acquiring. I was just consuming things to fill void that couldn't fill the void that I have. And then your eyes begin to open up to see reality of what is and the lies that you've been told, because you've also been lying to yourself. I had that experience when I was healing. I became so consciously aware of things around me and people around me. And let me tell you, the beauty about healing and getting into a healthy emotional and mental health place is that people will fall off you. You don't have to chase people anymore. You don't have to people please anymore. You don't have to say no to yourself anymore. People will fall off because they see you're now in a different space. Unhealthy people will fall off. And it will feel lonely at times, but your mental and emotional health should matter more to you, and you shouldn't have to worry about all that, because you will be in a better emotional state of mind, and you will look at yourself and say, whoa. And what you call loneliness doesn't even exist in that space. Peace is what exists. Happiness is what exists, because nobody can make you happy until you make yourself happy. And part of being happy in your own space and having the peace of mind in your own space is taking care of your emotional and mental health, because no one can do it for you but you. So today I want to challenge you on this mental health day to go back home to yourself. Come back. If you need support, reach out to me. Reach out to me. Email me, coaching@kemisogunle.com, or even DM me on Facebook or Instagram, wherever you're watching, or YouTube. And I'll be more than happy to help you. Because the truth is, if you're not making a move, you may be in the same spot year and years and years after, and nothing is changing. And you're just recycling yourself and developing unhealthy coping mechanisms that make you continue to self-sabotage. And then you keep projecting on other people. You keep trying to find people to solve the problem that they don't know about. And then they add more problem to you. And that makes you shift on your emotional and mental health to the left. Instead of being centered to your core, it results in dissociation from yourself. Your spirit, mind, body, and soul are no longer in sync. You can't even hear your intuition. You're just falling for the red flags all over the place. And then you're allowing other people to emotionally, mentally, physically, violently abuse you. Because they don't see the real you. They don't see the value that you are. And you get stuck in life. You deserve better. You were created for better. And you have to stop settling for less. You have to take care of your emotional health. You have to take care of your mental health, because they matter. You have to make them priority in your life, because life is short. If you're just existing, I want you to sit with yourself today and ask yourself, what do you really need? And why are you holding back from getting support to get to where you need to be at? The truth about coming to know yourself and loving yourself is there's no judgment in a place of love. Judgment only exists in a place of pain. And the people who will judge you are also in that unhealthy emotional and mental health state of mind. But the people who will support you to get healthier, to heal, will never judge you, will never even give you advice, because advice comes from other people's opinions based on where they're operating from. I've had clients who come to me and say, I want advice. I'm like, I don't give advice. I'm going to challenge you. And you're going to have to make a shift in your mindset. Because without reframing your mind, your life cannot change. You have to unlearn and begin to learn all over again. And you have to understand that learning is not done at one time in life. Healing is a lifetime process. Learning is a lifetime process. At different stages, you would have a different mindset because you're growing, you're elevating. You're not stuck with knowledge, because if you're stuck with knowledge, that's ignorance. That's why I shared my quote. The level of your ignorance is based on what you know and your ego. But when you're humble enough to learn and allow yourself to emerge and allow your emotions and feelings to teach you more, you become strengthened. You become better. You gain wisdom. You gain more knowledge that you're applying. You're not just packing the knowledge in a box that's limiting your belief and clouding your vision and clouding your judgment. You're evolving. You're shedding the weight that's holding you back. Your body is no longer going to keep keeping scores. Your body is going to let go and release. And you become lighter mentally, emotionally, physically. You're no longer stressed. You're no longer triggered. You learn how to understand your triggers, and then you're healing your triggers from them. Does that mean you won't be triggered sometimes? No. As long as there's emotional wound buried, you'll be triggered at different places, and triggers come as teachers to help you learn to heal and connect with your emotions and understand what you're feeling and move into a better space in life. If there are questions at this point, I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Because I wanted to come on briefly on this emotional and mental health day just to really support you with healing process. One of the things you'll discover when you're healing is that you're not listening to chatter anymore. You recognize noise and you recognize truth. But when you're not emotionally healthy or mentally healthy, all you listen to is noise and chaos. And those become convoluted in your mind, that you're taking on too much information and you're not processing the information and utilizing the information. But the moment you choose to start healing yourself, you sit with your feelings and emotions, you extract the knowledge that you need, you apply the knowledge to your life, and you make a shift. And your mindset shifts into a healthier place. And you just keep evolving. And you keep getting curious to learn more. You release yourself into abundant space of knowledge, and you allow yourself to just keep moving, keep growing. You don't listen to noise anymore. You don't listen to clutter anymore. You don't even get into argument, because you realize that your peace and happiness are more valuable than for you to engage in negative energy that's going to throw you back into where you were 10 years ago. Your mind is your powerhouse. You can either use it or lose it. And when you're losing it, it means you're getting into an unhealthy state of mind, and your mental health is going to go down the drain, and your emotional health is going to follow. But if you're using your mindset, if you're renewing your mindset, because that's a command from God as well. Be renewed, be transformed in your mind by renewing your mind daily. When you renew your mind, you're able to reframe your mindset. You're able to become emotionally and mentally stable. And you're able to develop your emotional intelligence to where you can filter out information you need and eliminate what you don't need from your space. So if there are no questions, I'll be signing off. I wanted to share this and challenge you on this mental health day to take care of your emotional and mental health, because no one can experience what you feel emotionally. No one can experience the same feeling with you. Everybody's feelings and emotions are unique to them. No one can help you process it as much as you will take care of it and process it. And no one has the right to tell you not to feel what you're feeling, because your emotions and feelings are valid and would always be valid. And you don't need to be invalidated. You don't need to be gaslit. You don't need to be stonewalled. You don't need to be damaged emotionally. You just need to constantly evolve emotionally and mentally to continue to stay healthy to yourself and truthful to yourself. Remember that when you take the time to heal, you are choosing you. You're saying yes to you. You're choosing to get into a better mental state of mind, and you're choosing to break cycles that may have been repeated in generations and generations and generations, and you're choosing better for you and building a legacy for your family by making that change to change your life, to change your world, to change your family, to change your community, and to change the world. No one can do it if you're not doing it. That's all I wanted to share with you guys. I hope you have a great week. If you're on holiday tomorrow, take time, rest your mind, reset, and know that it's always okay to reset. It's always okay to begin again. Life is about learning, and if you're not learning, you're not growing. If you're not growing, you become stagnant, and when you become stagnant, nothing grows there. It's only stillness. But you don't want to be still. You want to continue to renew your mind. You want to get into an emotional and mental healthy state of mind, and you want to keep evolving to change your life for the better, not the bitter. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great week ahead. God bless. Take care. Bye-bye.